Thursday, July 20th, day 7 of Tarleton's expedition to Greece 2017. This morning began with the National Archaeological Museum wanting to let me film, but because the director wasn't there to okay it, I wasn't able to film, but they did allow me to take the tour, which was phenomenal. The bronzes alone, particularly Zeus, Hercules, the marble of Aphrodite, were worth the trip to Greece. Now we're on the Aegean Sea and we're about to go to the Temple of Poseidon, where my colleague, Dr. Michael Vede, will speak. This is my homage to Marty DeBurgi of Spinal Tap, and it's also my personal version of a selfie. And of course, after all, Narcissus was a Greek. Welcome to Greece is the Word.
The country that you're in today, this country that you call Greece or Hellas, has not really been around a long time. It's been around for about half an hour in terms of our history. The first time this country ever existed was 1830. There was never a country called Greece before 1830. And you might say, well, what we're referring to when we're referring to Greece as birthplace of Western civilization. Well, first of all, since there was no country of Greece, what are they referring to? Well, first of all, they're referring to a series of events that took part in this geographical area. You can look at the history of modern Greece from a poetical viewpoint. If you were Lord Byron, or if you were another poet, and you say, well, you know, Lord Byron, his famous poet, came to Greece, and you know, he died in Missolonghi, and so on and so forth, and look at kind of historical perspective of a kind of literary interpretation of Greece through Byron's eyes. Or you can look at it just in terms of actual dates, and say, well, on this date this happened, on this date that happened, on this date that happened. So history, very interesting, you know. And if you do that, it's easy to fill in the blanks instead of taking all the things together and trying to interpret history, you know, poetically, statistically, you know, politically, you know, in terms of people's lives or whatever it might be. So a lot of these people, say if you take the monuments on the Acropolis, by the way, a lot of people look at the Parthenon from a distance, and so don't confuse the word Acropolis and Parthenon. It's just used loosely, you know. The word Greece, birthplace of Western civilization, is used loosely to denote a geographical area that we know today as Athens. So there was no country, but there was a city, and this city was called a city-state, just like Venice was a city-state, and a city-state you can put equals country. So this was a city-state that had its own walls, its own laws, its own leaders, its own thinkers, and they reacted or behaved just like any other country.
They were not unanimous about doing this because Pericles proposed, in part, to use money that the allies, those who were part of a defensive alliance against the Persians, led by the Athenians, they paid a yearly contribution because the Athenians had the fleet of 200 ships and they were patrolling the Aegean throughout the sailing season to make sure that the Persians did not try to come back. And Pericles argued that it was okay to take of that money to build the Parthenon because they were building the imperial capital. Such was the hold of Pericles over the Athenians that he managed to force the project through. The building is also more than just an imperial marker. It is also an answer to another temple that had been recently completed. As so often with ancient Greeks, one city-state builds a temple, and usually the next-door neighbor with whom the city-state has decidedly bad relations. The ancient Greeks are literally the neighbors from hell because they're always in conflict when they're close by, close to each other. So this one actually starts out on the same pattern. Doric in style, 6 columns on the back and the front, and 13 on the long sides. Now if you count, you'll find 17 and 8, because so as to make the temple larger, just a little bit larger, they changed the formula from 6 by 13 to 8 by 17. So the stylobate, the platform upon which the temple stands, had to be enlarged. Now, as we'll see, this is not simply a question of adding a bit of stone, because this temple pulls together a number of refinements that had been tried out on other temples in the late 6th and the beginning of the 5th century. The problem with buildings like this, with large flat surfaces, horizontal lines, and with upright columns, is that the eye will slightly distort what it's seeing.
We're here at the Acropolis, and the Parthenon is off to my right. One of my goals for this trip actually is to climb Mount Olympus. I'm looking forward to doing that. I came to Athens to learn a little bit more about the Greek culture and the accommodations. We have an apartment, we have a roommate. The air conditioning is not so good, but there's a gentle breeze in the evening, so it's not so bad. We do plenty of walking. I enjoy it. It seems that we do about 5 to 7 miles a day. Have a good pair of walking shoes when you come and travel abroad.
It was Sulla who led the Roman forces. Sulla defeated Mithridates. Sulla came to Athens afterwards, busted everything, looted the whole city. The Romans who came after Sulla, Caesar, for example, was concerned about the situation in Athens, wanted to contribute. This theater was rebuilt, and it then became a semicircular orchestra.
I chose Greece because of the history here, and it's been really cool to see all these places you hear about in real life. Another thing is that tonight we're going to the Acropolis Museum, and we're going to learn Greek itself. And when you're in a country, I feel as though it's very important to learn as much as you can about that country, simply so you come off as you're trying and you're attempting to learn something else. So I'm wearing this hat that I actually bought here in Greece, and I'm really interested to see everything else that's here, that's from here. Also, next weekend, I'm going to Mount Olympus. So that'll be really fun to be able to see that and to be able to climb it as much as possible.
What's your interest in Mount Olympus?
I love hiking, so I love to be able to see these places that everybody talks about and everybody climbs and the whatnot of that. And also it's just it's a change of scenery from the city. It's the mountains, it's the landscape of the country, not so much of the cityscape.
Are you surprised so many people are here in Athens?
I'm not really surprised that they're here. I'm more of surprised at how many people speak really good English and how willing people are to help you with your Greek and with your attempts to speak it and to understand it. Being able to see the different stages of architecture throughout history is really cool for me because you get to actually understand the path of the country itself.
I'm Pantelis Papachadjis. I'm from Greece. I'm a Greek guy, and I have a leather workshop. I've been doing this since I was 3.5 years old. It's a family business, so I'm following my father's job. I love it, and I hope I will be still doing it till I die. No, my specialty is making belts, bracelets. I used to make cowboy boots. Well, I had a guy to do the forming on the wooden form because this is a different specialty. I was doing this cutting and the sewing of the pieces of the upper part of the boot, saddlebags for bikes, little I don't know how do you call them, like little sockets for coins, some wallets. Sometimes I did some bags for friends. This thing with the groups of students visiting the workshop started when an American professor, I think it was a Florida university, he met Katie, my lady, and she was the group leader of the group, and she said, okay, what are you doing this period in your life? And she said, I'm with somebody who has a workshop, a leather workshop, and he was very interested to visit the workshop with the students, so this started like this. So I often have groups of students visiting the workshop. I tell them some things about leather. Wish we had a lot of time to show them the machinery. Once it was organized, and the group, each of student, he actually made from the start his own bracelet. Automatic thing.
Today we decided we were at the archaeological exhibit, and we saw a lot of ruins, a lot of interesting stories to go along with it, with all the gods. I learned a lot about the Orthodox Church, which I'm very interested in since I am Orthodox. We just saw so much. There's so much history here in Greece, and it's amazing.
Now, why did you choose Greece for your study abroad?
Not only is it made for math, and I am a math major, but Greece is so interesting to me, and the food and the culture, the language. It's really the history that brought me to here, and the culture. So overall, it was just curiosity, really.
Each tribe had his eponymous hero, and on this base stood 10 bronze statues, one of each hero, and then 2 tripod cauldrons to refer to the choice made by Apollon. And on the base itself, they would hang up messages and lists pertaining to the tribe. Canonically, 6x13 Doric of the 5th century is that it has a frieze up above the entrance, and it has a frieze above the back porch. These are intrusions from the Ionic style, and they were simply what was being done in Athens at the time. The 10 metopes on the front are given to Heracles, and the 8 on the long sides, plus the 2 friezes, are given to Theseus. Theseus is an Athenian hero that the Athenians start to raise in status.
Walking, compared to Texas or any other places I've been, this probably beats the cake of going up and down, incline and decline. So far, we're getting a little good workout, but can't complain. And we're on top of Mount Lycabettus, and so far the view's pretty good. I'm liking it so far. The reason I picked Greece is because, well, I want to learn something new, see different sites, and see a different point of view of the world. And hopefully Greece will give me the start of a new insight for all the stuff here. And so far we've seen the Acropolis, we've seen the Parthenon, we've seen the marble stadium of the first Olympic Games, the Temple of Zeus, Temple of Hephaestus, Athena, and so far all these amazing sites and places that the Greeks build. I'm just loving it so far. It's a history of math, and this is the birthplace of math, so I just want to see the view, see the new sites, see how math was actually started from here. If you ever get the chance to go study abroad, I will definitely take it. It's a different insight, different view. You'll learn new stuff, you'll gain new experiences, new adventures, new friends, new everything. I will highly recommend of going.
My name is Brock West. We are currently standing in the GNC. This morning we went to the National Archaeological Museum and we saw all the different artifacts from all the different eras that were in Greece, starting from the earliest and to the most recent. Various statues and other artifacts, pottery, lots of pottery, different swords and tools that they used back in the ancient times. And later we're going to climb that mountain and go to the Temple of Poseidon and learn about Poseidon, who was the god of the sea. So I chose to study abroad in Greece because I've always wanted to travel, and I know Greece is a beautiful country and a beautiful place. I knew Dr. Falkenberry and Dr. Smith, and they had given me a little bit more information about it, and that's why I signed up. Not this weekend, but next weekend I'll be going to Italy. I'll be seeing Rome, Venice, and Florence. I don't know when I'll be back in Europe, so I thought I might as well go to Italy.
Have you had a good time on study abroad so far?
Yes, I have. It's been a blast.
The Temple of Poseidon. It was pretty cool to swim in the Aegean Sea and then have the temple up there and then go learn about the history of that. And also Mount Lycabettus was just an amazing view of the whole city, a 360 panoramic view of the whole city. And then we went up again today and saw it again. So I liked it so much I went twice.
Right now, we've been on the road for about 2 hours. We left Athens around 8 o'clock. We're heading northwest towards Delphi. And right now, we're just enjoying the bus ride. We went to the Temple of Poseidon yesterday, and well, it was really awesome. The view was awesome. The breeze was very windy. We lost a couple of hats in the process.
The Temple of Poseidon was really cool because you got to see the landscape and it's almost magical. But when we were up there, the wind was insane and our hats were the risk of falling off. I let go of my hat for a second and it flew into the Aegean Sea. So it's a casualty of the amazingness, but there's a piece of me left there, so it's all good. To me, it was the water and how blue the water was, and also the fact that you're standing in these places where it was such a big deal to these people when they built it, and also just being able to look out and just this serenity just comes over you with the sun and the way it shines over the water and over the temple itself.
I'm Leanne Rains. I'm from Cisco, and I chose study abroad because I love to travel, and this way I get to travel and make new friends at the same time while still getting college credit. Greece has been amazing. This is my second study abroad, and this trip has been so different from the other one, yet the experience is still the same no matter where you go.
And where was the other study abroad?
I studied abroad in London a couple of years ago. We did topics in secondary mathematics, and this is history of mathematics. So today we are here at Delphi, and is it Delphi or Delphi? Delphi. Dang it! Today we're here at Delphi.
Our excursion has now arrived at Delphi. Delphi is, without argument, the most important site in the entire ancient Greek world. And the reasons are several. First of all, it's the center of the world. This was proven when Zeus sent an eagle from the very western end and an eagle from the very eastern end. And they met here over Delphi. This point was marked by a so-called omphalos stone, the navel stone, the center of the world. Delphi is also the place where you went if you needed help from the gods. There were several oracles. In fact, there were many oracles in Greece, but there were several big-name places. But the most important of all was here in Delphi. The god here, Apollon, worshipped under the cult name Apollon Pythios, had his temple built on a crack in the ground through which emanated gases that would make the young woman, later an older woman, slightly high, so that she could channel the god. And the answer to your questions would come through this medium, you might say. Delphi is also to be considered as the center of the world through the sheer amount of knowledge that was gathered here. It was a data bank. The people who came here to consult with Apollon came from all corners of the Greek world. They all had their problems and they all needed answers. So they would gather in the sanctuary on the 9th day of every month, except for the 3 winter months when Apollon was away on holidays. Many of the subjects that the people who came here asked about were personal, considering their own economic activities, their family life, their relationship with the gods. Throughout the entire site, there was a forest of bronzes, hollow cast bronze statues on these military victory monuments, on the victory monuments of the athletes who had won at the Pythian Games that were almost on par with the Olympian Games in Olympia, and then all the other dedications, many of them in bronze. This was the largest concentration of wealth in the ancient Greek world. When you go to the museum today, you see one single bronze statue and a couple of fragments. Of all these hundreds of statues, they were all lost. The Romans are the main guilty party, but it is said that when Neron came through Delphi in his grand tour of Greece in 68 AD, that when he left, having competed successfully in the Pythian Games, when he left, he had 500 statues in his baggage that he's simply taken along to Rome.
Kalimera, good morning from Greece. Just getting back from Santorini, a group of us went up there to see the sights. We saw some beautiful sunsets and sunrises. Our rental was right on the beach, so we were able to see the waves, and it was a beautiful area. We got to see the churches with their blue domes.
We saw all the pretty white buildings with the blue domes. We went to the fish doctor and got a fish pedicure where fish nibbled on our feet. That was very interesting, tickled a lot. And then we had a rooftop lunch and saw the ocean and the view of Santorini, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
There's a bunch of little towns there, so we did some shopping the first day, and then we saw the famous beautiful sunset in Ia. It goes over the blue dome roofs that you see on all the postcards, and it was fascinating. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. It was beautiful.
So we got to have a lot of fun while we were gone.
So on our first weekend, free weekend, we were walking around and we found this door. Dr. Mike explained to us that the owl at the top is for Athena, and you can see several Acropolis designs around, and each of the parts Dr. Mike explained to us, I don't remember everything, but had to do with the ancient history, and we just found the door and thought it was really neat.
Got a beach towel, and I got a bunch of keychains like this. They're really cute.
Those Louis Vuitton bags?
Yeah, I know. Really?
So are you having fun today?
Yes. It's fun to float. Pretty.
We're at the Corinth Canal, which was built in the late 1800s. It took a really long time to build, and two different guys in charge had to do it. The sad thing is, when it was being built, the ships got bigger, so they were never able to use the canal to get cargo from this side to that side. But we do see smaller boats go through now. This is a deep canal, and the reason it's so awesome is because they bungee jumped off of it in the Amazing Race. Here to sea level is almost 80 meters.
We have reached Epidaros, the site of the healing sanctuary of Asclepios. It is also the site of a major theater used for the musical events that were part of the games of Asclepios at this sanctuary. We won't be able to film inside the sanctuary because right now the Epidaros Festival is running, so that there will probably be scenery for the next performance of a tragedy or a comedy according to the program.
Hi, my name is Jaden Reynolds, and I'm an education major at Tarleton Stephenville campus. And I chose study abroad because I like to travel. I've never been to Europe before, and specifically the Athens trip, because it was a class that I could use for my degree plan, so it worked quite well. I knew somebody who'd taken the trip before, and I knew a couple people going, and I knew the professors pretty well, so it was a good fit. It's been an amazing experience so far. There's just so much history in Athens and around this area. It's pretty neat to see everything and just to learn about the culture and the ancient Greeks, stuff like that. Today was pretty cool. We went to Epidaurus, the theater of Epidaurus, which was pretty neat. It's, the way I understand it, it's one of the best intact theaters in Greece, so it was pretty cool to see that. And then now we're in Naphtali, which is a small city. It's got a really neat castle. It's 999 steps all the way to the top, and me and Mike went all the way to the top, and it's a beautiful view.
So what we just did is the same thing that Archimedes did in 250 BC. There's my oohs and ahs.
Με λένε Μαρία. Γεια σου Μέγαν. Χαίρο πολύ.
Με λένε Britlin.
Χαίρο πολύ. Πολύ κάθε. Με λένε Μαρία. Γεια σας. Χαίρο πολύ. The second thing that people may ask you is, where are you from?
Είμαι από το Τέξας.
Είμαι από την Αθήνα. Είμαι από την Αθήνα, με λένε Μαρία και διδάσκω ελληνικά. So, the alphabet, it is really important. It's really important so that you are able to read what is written. Alpha, Β, Γ, Δέλτα, έψιλον, ζήτα, ήτα, θήτα, χ, ψ, ωμέγα. In this case, I should start again.
There are 3 different ways of counting, and it's developed over time to become abstract counting like we use today.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So when we're talking about area, we're talking about covering the space.
Hello, my friend. My name is Dimitris Andronidis. We are now in Athens. Welcome to Greece. Here are my work, oil paintings that we're making with the whole family and selling here. And we welcome all the people from all over the world, especially from Texas, coming here, having a good time, to have a perfect vacation. And it's gonna be a reason to come back here again to see us again.
So we're standing outside again of the sanctuary of Zeus, Olympian Zeus. This is a temple, a Corinthian temple with a very long building history, because it was actually begun in the later 6th century by the tyrant family. When the tyrants were chased out of Athens in 510, nobody wanted to associate themselves with the building, so that it remained uncompleted. Right down to the 3rd century BC, Hadrian had studied in Athens as a young man and had a great love for Athens and learning. And when he became emperor in 117, he came to Athens on a tour, 124 to 125 AD, and restarted the project. And he provided the necessary finances. It was completed. So it has a building history that, in fits and starts, takes us over a good 800 years.
So I did study abroad because I wanted the experience and to have the adventure as for when I become a teacher. I want to have, be able to teach the history about the math. And my favorite part about study abroad is a lot of shopping. I love the shopping. The walking's not bad, but it's really hot. And I love the sites and all the archaeological sites and learning about the history of Greece and how mathematics played in the history and how it became a major influence into today's world.
What are your favorite sites that you've been to?
My favorite site is probably the Acropolis because it's so high, and I liked going to the beach. It was fun, but it's all rocky, so it's really hard to lay down. And then I like going around town and seeing everything lit up. It's really pretty, and seeing everything from far distance, and seeing the guards change out. That's really cool, and it's a great thing to see.
Behind me, we see the Tower of the Winds, one of the iconic buildings of ancient Athens. It's actually not that ancient in real terms because it dates to the end of the 2nd century BC. In other words, it's a good over 200 years later than the Parthenon. It antedates the establishment of the Roman agora, which replaced the original Greek agora around 11 or 10 BC. It was a gift from Augustus, the emperor, and his right-hand man, Agrippa. It had to replace the Greek agora because Athens had been severely damaged in 86 BC when Sulla came through to punish the Athenians for choosing the wrong side in a fight that the Romans had with the king Mithridates of Pontus, which is up in the Black Sea area. The Athenians chose to go with Mithridates in the hope that they would get out from underneath Roman tutelage. That, of course, did not happen. And as punishment, the city was looted and largely destroyed. Rebuilding was slow, and Augustus himself, when he became emperor, took an interest and put up the money for this new marketplace. It's constructed in the normal Hellenistic way that you build a marketplace. It has stores on all four sides. It has access to water. There's a fountain house. It's actually a rather special day for me coming here to the Roman Agora, because for the first time ever, I've been inside the Tower of the Winds. It has been closed for ages because they've been restoring it, and it's been a very slow process.
The Agora was awesome. I think just from the ruins you can tell that it used to be a really beautiful place, very large. It would be something that if it was still alive and well, that people would definitely be going to and traveling to.
So we just visited the Roman Agora. It was really cool. We got to go inside the actual Agora and we got to see what it looked like, and it had like a little glass thing that we walked on, so you couldn't walk on the actual Agora where it was laid. And we went to go eat lunch and it was really great. Had French fries. They have French fries with everything and it's great. And the pita bread is great.
Maybe it's a special sauce or something like that. I know, we'll see when. Μία ερώτηση. Το Αρνή Ακρόπολη, Μοσχάρη Ακρόπολη και Κοτόπουλο Ακρόπολη.
Me and Megan are going to get a hotel this weekend while everyone else is going to Mount Olympus, and we're going to go to the beach. So,
And where?
Oh gosh, I don't know, some beachfront hotel.
I heard you were Mr. TSU last year. What is the meaning of this?
It's a very big honor. I get to represent my school, and I kind of entail everything that Tarleton's core values, what we strive to be, and what the university wants their students to portray, and I get to do that daily.
We're looking out over the ancient site of Corinthos, or Corinth, but not over the classical site, which was destroyed in 147 BC by the Romans. The Corinthians were made an example to the other Greeks when they had revolted against the Roman occupiers. What we're seeing is the Roman colony that was established in around 44 BC by Julius Caesar, shortly before his death. So there was a period of about 100 years when this site was utterly deserted. Everything had been destroyed, and the population had been sold into slavery as far as the women and the children were concerned, and the men had been butchered. Some of the sites, some of the buildings on this site go back to earlier Greek buildings. There is the famous Priene fountain house, which was refurbished by the Romans. There is the Temple of Apollon that we can see up on the hill to my left, and that one was restored by the Romans. That temple goes back to around 600 BC. It's one of the first stone-built temples in Greece. Theater down below is a Greek theater originally. It is built up against the slope as the Greeks built theirs. The Romans built them on flat ground. But the version that we have, of course, is Roman because everything had to be rebuilt. It has a substantial stage building, and it has something which is rather rare for theaters as excavated, and that is it still has the altar to Dionysos in the middle of the circle where the chorus performed the choral passages, the area that is known as the orchestra.
Here today, but she is going to be doing her paper over Pythagoras and the Pythagorean theorem. I can't talk.
And I am doing my report on the heron of Alexandria. who is known for finding the area of a triangle using the lengths of its sides.
I'm also doing my paper on Heron of Alexandria, but I'm doing mine over the concept of he was the first person that coined imaginary numbers. So I'll be able to use that in my pre-cal class.
For my final project, I am doing a presentation over Hephaestus, and he is a Pythagorean scholar, mathematician, who is credited for discovering irrational numbers.
Nope, we gotta go back down.
I'm doing my project on Diophantus. He is the father of algebra.
Where are we right now?
At a castle in Corinth.
My presentation is on Caliphus, and he is known for discovering the solar anomaly.
My project's on Apollonius of Perga, and he's responsible for conic sections such as the ellipse, the hyperbola, and the parabola.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The paper that I'm going to do my research study of the person is Thales Malthus. He was the first philosopher according to Aristotle, and he used geometry and deductive reasoning to find the length of the ships from where his standpoint is, and the height and the shadow of the pyramids, and he was one of the 7 sages of the Greeks.
I'm doing my final project over Euclid, who is known for his elements, which are the foundations of the geometry that we know.
We're back at the Corinth Canal, and my project is over Eratosthenes.
For my project, I am researching Hypatia, and she is the first female mathematician.
are not at the Corinth Canal today. That's actually been really fun. I like that a lot because I've seen it on TV, so I was able to say, hey, I've been here. My favorite thing, though, has got to be in the evenings, going down to the square and sitting with the locals and ordering food and eating. That's been really neat.
It's July 31st at 7:45 in the morning, and we are waiting for our bus to go to the ferry to have a beach day. This weekend we decided we wanted to go get a hotel by the beach so we didn't have to take the tram everywhere. And it was really relaxing.
Our first beach was a disaster.
Really?
There was ants everywhere, crawling all over the place. And so we went back to the hotel. We're like, we have to find something else. And so we went and got some flyers, and we found this beach place with like inflatables, and
yes,
it was great.
And cabanas and food, and it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
We had pizza.
We did. We had
pizza on the beach.
What's been your favorite thing so far in Greece?
Oh man.
So much.
Yeah.
They have the pod in the front and the back. So
For our second free weekend, me and a few others went to Italy. We flew into Rome. We had a great time. We did some Rome nightlife. We went to the Colosseum. And then the next day we took a train to Florence and visited Florence for a little bit. Didn't do a whole lot in Florence, just kind of relaxed. Next day we took another train to Venice, which was my favorite.
So currently we're on the island of Agana, just outside of Athens. We've been on the ferry for about an hour, but this past weekend I went with a group to Italy. It was actually a very spur of the moment for me. I bought the tickets 2 days in advance, and we landed in Rome around 10 o'clock on Friday night and got to go down and see the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain lit up at night, and it was amazing. And I've loved Greece, but Rome was breathtaking. It was just amazing, life-changing. This trip is much larger, and so I've made friends with people that I've never would have met before. People that are younger than me, people that are older than me that went through Tarleton either prior or after I did. And so being a graduate student, I've been able to meet undergrads that I normally wouldn't have gotten to meet. And that's been great because I've made friends with people that I wouldn't have even spoken to probably.
It's a pretty cool little town. We had lunch and went and saw a temple. This past weekend I went with 3 other people to Italy. We went to Rome, Florence, and Venice. My favorite was by far Rome. We got to see the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain at night. The Trevi Fountain was absolutely breathtaking at night. Hardly anybody was there. We got to walk right up to it and take our picture with it, and the 4 of us stood at the fountain and we all made a wish and threw a coin into the fountain, and the locals cheered us on after we got done making our wish. It was pretty cool. I think my favorite thing in Greece was probably Corinth. Getting to see that biblical history behind Corinth and actually being able to tell what the rocks formed. We've seen a whole bunch of rocks and haven't really been able to tell what they were exactly. We've been told that they were buildings, but Corinth you could actually see like buildings like plotted out, and it was pretty cool.
So today we're in Agatha, Greece. It's a beautiful island. Yesterday I spent my day climbing Mount Olympus, just outside of Litahoro, Greece. And it was such a fun 2 days that I have lost my voice. The mountain, the summit, is at 2,918 meters, which is almost 9,600 feet. Part of my purpose of coming out here to Athens, Greece, was to climb Mount Olympus, and at first it didn't look like it was going to happen. So it did happen Saturday. We made our summit, and then we had 5 points of contact on the way back down, which is all 4 limbs and our rear end. With students that want to do travel abroad or study abroad programs, when you come out to the different countries, keep an open mind, try the different foods, meet the different people, hang out with the locals as much as you can.
A few of us went up to Mount Olympus and did a hike around that area, and we started about 1,100 meters and we went up a little, around, and then back down the mountain. And it was supposed to be a 6-hour trek, ended up being about 8.5 hours. But the really cool thing that we did was we went up to the monastery. I am a hiker person. I love doing it. I love challenging myself and trying new things and going on, I guess you could say, going on different adventures.
Yesterday, or on our second free day weekend, me, Mariana, Mike, Dr. Smith, and Dr. Falkenberry went mountain climbing to Mount Olympus. The gorge part of it, the bottom half of it, which is about 1,100 meters. And we visited the monastery, the holy cave, and we saw some beautiful sights of the gorge, the waterfall. So far, the most favorite thing, or the thing I did on this trip the most, was almost about anything.
Saturday morning, my legs were swollen, and I just decided to stay in the Airbnb that we had, and I propped my feet up all day and looked at the ocean. And could see Mount Olympus out the back window and the sea out the front, and it was beautiful.
We just got finished visiting the pottery workshop of Nectarios. He and his family have been making pots in the same manner since 1000 AD, and he showed us how he makes the pots and threw one for us. He said that when they find some of the ancient pottery ruins by the column, the ancient ruins over there, and they bring it to his shop, he can tell that it's made in the same way that he and his family have been making it for generations. It has the same signature marks on it. So we got to see how he makes those, and Brentley got to throw a pot as well, and we also got to buy some of his pottery. I bought a cup for my husband because he loves to drink his coffee out of a clay cup. And I thought it was pretty cool that Nectarios is the last artisan on the island who uses this same method of throwing pots.
Visited the sanctuary Athena Aphaia, which is the main religious site here on the island of Aegina. It is dedicated to Athena Aphaia. That means that Athena took over from a local nymph named Aphaia, and thus got the epithet Aphaia added to her name. The sanctuary goes back at least to the 8th century. It is considered to be a jewel among Greek temples. It's one of the most perfect little structures, about a quarter the size of the Parthenon, but it's already starting to use a number of the optical corrections that will all be pulled together in the Parthenon. Once again, we have to deplore that we were not allowed on site, but if they have a permit issue, they have a permit issue. The Benaki Museum has a spectacular collection of jewelry. Many gold earrings and bracelets and necklaces. And they also have a number of gold crowns. These crowns, most of them are funerary. As I say, they were made for the burial. But we know from Athens, for example, in the classical period, that if someone had been particularly solicitous to the needs of the city, had done something very important for the city, the Assembly of the People could vote a gold crown for this citizen. And on a later occasion, once the crown was ready, the citizen would be called up in front of the assembled people, demos, and would be crowned in the Assembly of the People. This is one of the highest honors that you could receive.
That we had several workshops throughout the well-known world, like the workshop in Constantinople, in Istanbul, and workshops also in Athens, in Crete, all over Greece. This is a very important icon. It's a portable icon, because we do separate the icons, the wall paintings and portable icons. That's why you have so many details in the faces and the clothes and everywhere, in the buildings and everywhere. This represents the Holy Trinity. And in the Orthodox world, the Holy Trinity is 3 angels, exactly the same faces, with no sex. So this is Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
We would always go by that. No, it's tomatoes with cucumbers. We eat that every day. Is that what they said? We did the same thing. I'm saying you don't like that one.
And now there's an Ulta opening up.
Money. You don't want to waste that food. Yes.
One of the things about traveling overseas, as you have, and doing something different and getting out of your comfort zone is you have a lot of different experiences, a lot of them emotional experiences. One thing that's nice to have, and people really like, is to have a document. So today we're going to give you a little piece of paper. Brock West.
Thank you.
Tiffany Raines. Michael DiVenti. Mark Mosby. Megan Obeid. Choose the pronunciation if I don't get it right. Heather Hurek. Mariana Hill. Brentley Miles. Courtney Holland. Amanda Harris. The clapping is getting weaker. Amanda Harris. That's it. Hey, you know. Jaden Reynolds.
It's just been a great privilege to have you all with us, our mathematicians of the future. And there are not too many who are in that field and who come to Greece.
We didn't know what we were going into, but you were brave and you said, I'm going to take that jump and I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know what it holds, but we're going to do it anyway. And aren't you so glad that you did?
There we go.
That's right.
Good.
Dragon.
Got it. Great.
It's a special
That's a
day
large
for
group.
Texas Day.
I know.
If we want to work on our project, some of them are so we can read about it along.
You're going to work on your project now?
I'm doing my project on Diophantus, something like that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's my video on Aristophanes.
My presentation is over Heron of Alexandria.
When the kids would log in, they would see something like this, and they see these tiles.
I am going to be teaching here at Tarleton as a GA position while I finish my master's this coming year, and I did Pythagoras.
My name is Brentley, and I am a undergrad, and I am doing Hypatia.
My project is on Cleopas. So he was guesstimated to be born around 370 BC.
Apollonius of Perga. Oops.
Today I'm talking over Thales of Malthus. He was a Pythagorean philosopher, and not too much is known about his life.
He created the first vending machine, which dispensed holy water.